that the best possible state was the state of Medina, when Huzur Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam laid down the principles in communication with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, laid down the principles which are eternal as far as relationships between human beings are concerned. The ethics are eternal. The principles are eternal. Circumstances will change. People will move. Instead of camels and cars, instead of miswak, people would use a toothbrush. But the principles remain the same, because humanity in its emotions will never change. Humanity lives with its emotions, which are love, hate and phobias, like I mentioned somewhere also a few days ago. So ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing which Farabi did, and the most important thing for the Ummah today, and for the OIC, and for you gentlemen today, is the fact that we believe in our own countries, and we believe as the Muslim Ummah that we have been left behind by the current scientific knowledge of the world. And it is running faster. If you thought that knowledge is going at a pace where you can catch up with it, let me give you some news. It is running much faster than what you ever thought. There is a change which is happening. There is a change like the Industrial Revolution, for example. There is changes in artificial intelligence and thinking, which is around the corner, and it is very fast. I was reading a book, Super Intelligence by Nick Bostrom, and the fact that we do not know what will happen in the next 10 years means that we'll be left further behind. There is an acceleration which is around us. So it is very alarming for me to present to you, before you, and this forum is one forum which is talking about the most important situation. Like, for example, about 100 years ago, about 150 years ago, when Sir Sayyid Ahmad Khan in India and Pakistan, in this region, when he talked about that the Muslims have to learn, it was a process which we thought it will take a couple of generations, and if you start learning, you will catch up. That is not true today. You don't have the time of a couple of generations anymore. By the time we will learn what is happening, science, technology, artificial intelligence, the internet would have gone far beyond. So therefore, this is a warning bell. And in fact, Comstack is a great institution, in fact, which should have the burden, which should carry the burden of trying to motivate the Islamic world, that unless you have knowledge, you will not be able to improve your lot. It's not the question of defense, it's not the question of armaments. If you purchase armaments from somebody, they are stale the time you purchase it. Sometimes we may have pride that we have purchased these armaments and we are strong. The strength comes from intellect, the strength comes from thinking, the strength comes from building characters, the strength comes from principles, the strength comes from ethics, which Islam has given to you as a permanence. You have that strength. But that strength has to be translated into scientific current knowledge to have an advantage, not on other countries. Islam never thinks of exploitation. Islam thinks of serving your own lot well. Islam thinks of insaf. Islam thinks of establishing a state where the rights of people, that is the biggest message of Islam, the message that Allah is one, and the message that the Prophet is the last Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just lays down the principles on which then you learn. So the source is described, and the source is described for you to believe that whatever information is coming to you, therefore, is the true information. So you don't have to follow the scientific principles of Islam. The principles of Islam are more ethical and moral. And today in the world, if you look around at the United Nations, the international forums, there is lack of morality. And I was reading, I've been talking about the morality in international institutions, and I was reading Sir Agha Muhammad Khan III's memoirs, and he talked about the fact that he was the president of the League of Nations in 1939. I don't remember, 1939 or 1938, and he wrote that the institutions in the world lack morality. And even today, the weightage of money, the weightage of trade, the weightage of armaments, the weightage of brute force is there in institutions which are supposed and which should have been. And that is where the Republic or Al-Madinatul Fadila or the fact that the Constitution of Islam or the Quran by itself, the biggest one, lays down those principles which are lacking today in the world. So, if the world is not looking for morality, we Muslims are looking for morality. We believe in morality. But lo and behold, when we have problems like Kashmir and Palestine, we realize the world doesn't care about us. Why? Because either we are talking of Pidram Sultan Booth, that we were strong, our Iman is strong, there is nothing which can defeat us. But Iman needs a combination of scientific knowledge to be able to improve your lot. We are not defeating nations. We improve it. Your people are in misery. Look at India. The Muslims are in misery. Look at Palestine. Look at Kashmir. They are in misery. Look at the Rohingyas. They are in misery. Even we ourselves, we have poverty. We are not able to take care of our own. But that can't happen if you have pukhta iman. God will not change you because God has implemented principles. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has His own principles of running this world. He gives leadership, He gives chance to people who can change, who are leaders in the world in His knowledge. So it is important that we go pick up the principles of Al-Farabi, the guidance of Al-Farabi, for example, and the guidance is simple. His knowledge probably is outdated, but his principles, his arguments are probably very current. And based upon those principles and arguments, ladies and gentlemen, it is up to us. The future looks to us. The Muslim Ummah looks to you. The Muslim Ummah believes that there can be a change. And we have talked about change for a long time. Every leader in the Muslim world has been talking about change, but to be able to do it, we have to work harder. We have to ensure the fact that our people get educated. We have to ensure the fact that people are healthy. These two are the combinations to lift us out of poverty. And as we get educated and with higher education, we have a chance. So ladies and gentlemen, not let that chance go. Thank you. Thank you very much.
सदर डॉक्टर आरिफ अलवी ग्लोबल अल-फराबी फोरम के इफ्तिताही सेशन से खिताब कर रहे थे। उनका ये कहना था कि टेक्नोलॉजी को इस्लामी उसूलों के साथ